Sean Pickett with Sales Integrity here. Thank you for listening to the Sales Integrity Podcast. I created a free course for you titled 7 Steps to Master the Game of Complex Technical Selling. To claim your free course, just visit mastercomplexselling.com. Again, that's mastercomplexselling.com, or simply text the word SI course to the number 44222. Again, that's SI as in Sales Integrity. So SI course, all one word with no space in between SI and course. Otherwise, you'll get an error message back. So simply text the word SI course to the number 44222. Now let's jump into the podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are listening to this. I'm Sean Pickett. I'm the founder of Sales Integrity and host of the Sales Integrity Podcast. Today, we're going to focus on the 3 primary business outcomes that your prospects and customers are seeking at all times. So that's right. You could boil down your products, services, solutions to one or all of these 3 business outcomes, and you're going to be in great shape moving forward as it relates to messaging and influencing and persuading in a positive way, to your point of view, to work with more customers and close more deals. So what are those 3 business outcomes? This could be a very simple podcast today because we're just going to narrow it down to this power of 3, and we had talked about that in last Friday's podcast about the leveraging the power of 3. If you haven't heard that yet, then go back and listen to that episode about the power of 3 and how you can leverage that as a sales professional. But that's what we're going to focus on here today, is these 3 primary business outcomes that all of your prospects and customers are seeking. So if you can map your product, services, and solutions to these, you're going to be in great shape. So here's what those 3 are. First one is top line growth. The second one is bottom line results. And the third one is operational efficiency. And that third one of operational efficiency leads to driving those first 2 business outcomes. So let's break this down a little bit further. First of all, top line growth. What is it? It's really growing the company, expanding the business through increase in revenue and increase in sales. So that's really what top line growth is. It's all about growing. Bottom line results is all about improving profitability or reducing expenses and costs, which leads to an increase in profitability, right? So that's what that is. And then operational efficiency, simply put, is getting the same things that you're doing now, done in less time, more efficiently doing things, right? Where effectiveness is, about the style and how you're doing things. Efficiency is about how quickly you're getting things done. So just keep that in mind. I like to break it down to this simplistic form here, if you will, because a lot of times in the tech space as sales professionals, we can overcomplicate things, right? We have lots of training and on our products, our services. We like to talk in terms of solutions and solving problems. But at the end of the day, if you're really talking more features and functionality and bits and bytes and zeros and ones and what your product does and technology for the sake of technology, you're really putting yourself at a disadvantage and doing a big disservice for the people that you're talking to, mainly your prospects and customers, right? So what you want to do, and how can you make use of the big 3 here in terms of top line growth, bottom line results, and operational efficiency? What you want to do is sit down and conduct an exercise, look at your products, your services, your solutions, and map them to these 3 business outcomes. So you want to look at it in every single thing that you sell, every single bit of technology, every service solution that you're packaging up. You should be able to map to one of these 3 business outcomes. And if you're not, you're going to be at a disadvantage compared to your competitors out there that are doing a better job of communicating and putting their messaging together. So it's as simple as sitting down, taking some time, think through it, and really understand what does my technology do to help my customers accomplish or achieve one or more of these 3 business outcomes, right? So if we look at the tech industry in general, there's lots of different technologies out there. I'm not sure what everyone in the audience obviously sells, but you got big data, you've got, mobility solutions, everything's all about the cloud now, cloud computing, cloud services. You got managed IT services, custom software development, you got software packages, ERP, supply chain software, infrastructure, networking, security. IT security is a real big niche out there these days. So I'm just throwing out some, that this kind of spans the spectrum of our sales integrity customers and all those that I'm involved with in the tech industry. And I just know these are complex technical sales, right? These are complex technical sales cycles, and they call for sophisticated conversations with very smart executives that are well researched already because of the power of the internet, right? So if you're not coming to the table with messaging that is well prepared, well thought out, makes sense, and you simplify it down to the business outcome, and you start there first. It's the old begin with the end in mind. Our solution can help you achieve top line growth. Here's how we do that. Here's the major problem our existing customers experience that are similar to you, and here's how we solve those problems. And if you're not weaving that into your conversations, and again, you're going to be putting yourself at a big disadvantage. When we look at cloud, for instance, I did a little bit of research in advance of this podcast. Microsoft has on CIO.com, they have a big ad going there where you click on it. It's a real nice piece of content, actually. Very, very detailed, all about cloud transformation and helping enterprises do that. And so given that, I kind of really clicked through, did a bunch of research, and they were talking a little bit about big data, which is really just picking up steam. And it's on the beginning, just the beginning part of that big data revolution as it relates to the tech industry and what companies can do with it. But they talk about, the first wave of big data has helped organizations reach a critical point in their transition to becoming more digitally driven. Organizations, for example, as it relates to big data, they're collecting and analyzing ever larger volumes of data. And they're gathering that from a myriad of sources. So, they're taking information all across different sources, across the enterprise and out on the web. There's the Internet of Things and collecting, machine data and things like that of everything that we're using out there as consumers. And they can aggregate all that, pull it all into a central source, that's big data there. And they've already begun to streamline processes and systems for managing that big data. And some of these companies have built big data architectures that span the cloud and on-premise systems, right? So given all of that, that's a lot of technical talk, right? So how can you make sense of that, all of that, for your prospects and your customers? Well, Microsoft talks a little bit about the next phase of the big data revolution is figuring out new ways to utilize the information to make better decisions, to identify new business opportunities, and to improve the customer experience. So let's just pause right there. That's the big three right there, right? They leverage the power of three right within their content here. But again, the next phase of the big data revolution is figuring out new ways to achieve these three things. Utilizing the information to, number one, make better decisions. Number two, identify new business opportunities. Number three, improve the customer experience. What does making better decisions do? It's going to allow you to grow the enterprise, grow the company faster, right? It's going to allow you to streamline processes and get things done more efficiently, right? And so when you look at making better decisions, there's a whole bunch of outcomes that come off of that, but you can tie all those back to top line growth, bottom line results, and operational efficiency. It allows them to identify new business opportunities. Well, what would a new business opportunity do for these companies? It allows them to expand their footprint, scale, grow, right? And again, that's all about top line growth. In improving the customer experience, well, if you improve the customer experience, you're going to hang on to them for a longer period of time. They're going to stay loyal to your company longer. It's going to impact the top line and the bottom line because it's very costly to churn through customers, and it's more costly to go acquire new customers than it is to keep existing ones. That's why they'd want to improve the customer experience. So I didn't want to just talk at a high level and say, hey, top line growth, bottom line results, operational efficiency, sit down, do an exercise and map your complex technical product, services, and solutions to that and start speaking that language, if you will, when you're meeting with executives in these buying teams that these companies you're selling to. Not just that, I just wanted to dig in and give like one example here based on that research. Big data is pretty commonly known for those that are probably the audience of this podcast. You are in the tech space, so you should know about it because a lot of your solutions, if it's not about big data, it's going to interact with it and it's going to collide with it at some point. And organizations are very focused on collecting and analyzing that big data and really to achieve those three things or look at those three things about making better decisions, identifying new business opportunities, improving the customer experience. So if that's what's out there in research, and that's what I'm hearing in conversations, that's what I'm hearing from my coaching clients who are B2B tech sales professionals, then you can bet that these are hot topics that your prospects and customers are researching and thinking about. So those three things, what do? They lead to top line growth, bottom line results, and operational efficiency. So as I promised, it'd be a pretty quick podcast today. I just wanted to really cue that up and spark that conversation, have you talk about that internally at your organization. Can I sit down and examine our products, services, and solutions? Can I map that to one or more of these three business outcomes? And if not, I better start really thinking through how I can do that so I can improve the way I'm communicating as it relates to my prospecting efforts. And once, when I'm in the pipeline and working on opportunities, as I'm guiding these buyers through their buying journey and guiding these opportunities through the sales cycle, do I need to change the way I'm communicating? Could that move these deals through that pipeline faster towards closure? And then when you're meeting with your existing customers, how can I really provide them better service? How can I be more of a thought leader and really look at what they're thinking about and meet them where they're at? So that's today's episode, all about that big three of top line growth, bottom line results, operational efficiency. Those are the three primary business outcomes your customers are seeking. So what are you doing about it? That's the question. What are you doing about that to make sure your company and yourself is well positioned to earn that business through better communications, leveraging those big three and those primary business outcomes. All right, that's it. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you for listening. And let's end today's episode with a few quick reminders. First, we recently launched 2 new B2B tech sales professional groups, one on LinkedIn and one on Facebook. Just search for B2B tech sales professionals on either LinkedIn or Facebook, or both if you want to join both groups, and join the conversation with your peers there. Second, if you haven't already subscribed to our free 7-day video email course titled 7 Steps to Master the Game of Complex Technical Selling, then you can do so by visiting mastercomplexselling.com. Again, that's mastercomplexselling.com, or you can text the word SI course, so as in sales integrity, SI course, all one word with no spacing in between. If you send it with a space between SI and course, you'll receive an error message back. So text the word SI course to the number 44222. After subscribing, we will send you your first lesson via email right away on day 1, and then one for the next 6 days. Third, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or SoundCloud. Just search for the Sales Integrity Podcast with Sean Pickett, and it should pop up and allow you to subscribe on one of those 2 channels. After you subscribe, please provide a quick 5-star rating and simple 1 to 2 sentence review to help others find the show. To provide a review on iTunes isn't as simple as you think. You can't do so directly within the podcast. What you have to do is actually click on the search icon, then type in Sales Integrity, and you will see my podcast there. Now, I'm referring to the purple podcast icon. When you click on that on your iPhone, brings up the main podcast center. Down below, you'll see the search icon. So click on that, type in Sales Integrity, and you'll see the podcast there. Click on the podcast. In it, you'll see the reviews tab in the middle there. Just click on that. And once there, you could provide a 5-star rating and simple 1 or 2 sentence review. Now, since iTunes prioritizes shows with the most ratings and reviews higher than those that have just a few of them, this will dramatically help the show be found by more people. So I greatly appreciate it. And finally, please share the podcast with your colleagues and friends who would find it relevant. You can do so by going to salesintegrity.com and click on the Sales Integrity Podcast menu link at the top of the page. All of the podcasts are there, and it provides you a way to click a button and share any episode, whether via email directly to individuals, or there's buttons there to share it on the various social media sites, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, etc. So I would greatly appreciate it if you spread the word about the show on social media to help grow it. And finally, that'll do it for today's episode. Now go out there in the sales world today and help your prospects and customers buy what they want, what they need, and what benefits them. And most importantly, go out there and make it a great day.